Hi there, John Langley, PMS Fort Crook here. Back with another video. I guess this video is going to be like the other one, the last video I posted here, concerning Airfix and Hornby. I That's the first time I posted a video concerning the situation with stuff going on in the hobby, and it seems like people are very interested in that, and I got a lot of responses out of it. I got a lot of views out of it. And got good people some left some good remarks on it as well, including one in which I asked it, if you got something that's different from what I'm talking about on the situation, post it. Uh, Throwing out personal attacks really doesn't accomplish anything. Maybe makes you look like an idiot, but nonetheless. But anyway, I've been out for 3 weeks. First weekend I did Ocon Expo. I did the model contest there. And then the very next week I was sick. So and I'm back at work. I get a strange work schedule anyway, but still getting over the illness here. As you can hear, my voice isn't as clear as it previously was, if it was. I get a little bit of chest congestion left a little bit there. So, but anyway, um, I'm gone 3 weeks, and a lot of crazy stuff has hit the wall. Yeah, people keep telling me modeling is very boring and slow and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. These last 3 weeks have proved that that's a little bit different here. And we'll start with the situation with Hornby and Airfix. As we talked about here previously, Hornby's cleaning house, and as a result, uh, the guy in charge of Airfix and a lot of the other individuals have left the company and moved on. And it looks like the the ad portion for Airfix has moved on to someone else, and apparently it's training day. And the thing about the individual who left Airfix, people liked him very well. He was well liked because of the fact that he talked to the modelers. He was much into communication with them. He did stuff online and stuff like that. Um, but everybody was very liked the guy very well, and of course they were pretty upset to see him go. But right now it seems like whoever's taken over the ads in Airfix, um, let's say, well, first of all, apparently AI's been involved in it, and let's say that maybe it's a case of somebody who doesn't know uh, it doesn't know doesn't know their fans, because they kind of stepped on the proverbial landmine, depending on how you look at the ads that was put out in Facebook. Now, what I mean by this here, and I call it the case of a Bud Light. And what I mean by that is, of course, I don't know, everybody, I'm sure people will remember what happened 3 years ago when Bud Light decided that they hired on a new VP, and she decided she's going to take Bud Light in a new direction ad wise. And of course, the response wasn't all positive, um, especially when comes to people taking out cases of beer in their backyard and shooting them or blowing them up. Um, Hopefully nobody does that with their Airfix kits. I'd rather not see anybody do anything that extreme. And yes, there's a bit of over the top sort of thing with their boycott. But also there was something that she said also which inflamed the situation. And basically she called the ads previously as fratty and basically low humor, bad humor. And um, that's the portion we're going to focus on, because it basically appeared to people that she didn't know her customer base, because Bud Light ads haven't been funny for quite a while. So you got that right there. And I don't know about fratty, because a lot of Bud Light drinkers are much older, old as me. But I'll be honest, I don't drink Bud Light. I haven't drank Bud Light in years. So, but anyway, it's basically a case of not knowing your customer base, and it looks like Airfix kind of stepped on that too, because it looks like it depends on what part of the spectrum you sit on. I mean, yes, I do have a 6-inch humor as well. However, there are a lot of us that were trying to impart this hobby onto younger builders, and some of the ads were pretty much on the line, and then there was one particular ad which might have actually crossed it, which pissed people off. So anyway, to get involved, what I have to say here is because um, we're talking about stereotyping, and yes, I do know that us maulers are stereotyped as well. A lot of people do refer to us as a bunch of old sick men sitting in our basements, and basically that's a stereotype which we're trying to outlive. That's a strange way of saying it, but trying to impart it to people that that's not the way we are. Now have been some incidents, and of course, the stereotyping for maulers has also been thrown on gamers as well, and which you know accumulated in what they call Gamergate, like a few years ago, about 10 years ago, something like that, to where gamers were often thought of as dirty dirty males sitting in their basement and thinking about nothing but gaming and other things. And maulers have got that stereotyping as well, and there's been some incidents that have occurred. I know when it comes to gaming, of course, I've been at Ocon Expo, which is a pop culture convention, and of course, there are signs that basically says no means no, because you know a lot of cosplay does involved a lot of, let's say uh, let's say what's a quick way? A lot of the females are not dressed as you would normally see at work. Let's put it that way. And some guys have a tendency to creep people out. And we had an incident at one of the nationals a few years ago. I don't remember which one, to where a modeler was basically asked to leave and has been banned from all PMS USA functions, because apparently he was saying things to a female modeler, which got him disinvited. So, the thing about it though is that most of us maulers were not that way. And the thing about it is that we're trying to impart this hobby onto younger generation, to show them basically, um, actually to get started, get involved. Hopefully they'll like it, and then ways to improve the craft. So, and the thing about it too is, in my experience, because I've been trying to get younger guys involved in modeling as well, it's not the kids. The kids are very open minded, and if there's something they think that they'll actually like, something that's new, something that can broaden their horizons, they're very open to it. But it's the parents you need to convince, and it's the parents that are more stereotypical than the kids. And I see the reactions from some parents there too, that where even at Ocon Expo, we would offer a child a free model kit, and some parents look at us like we're like this is the crazy man here. They look at us like, are you mad? And the thing is that we're just offering the kid a kit. That's all we're doing. So, but it's the parents we had to convince, and part of the reason why is cost. The hobby's become expensive lately, and of course, parents like to know is their kid's going to be safe while involved in this hobby. And of course, the stereotyping, it's a bit of an issue. And the way Airfix did their ads a few weeks ago, that exactly kind of compounded the issue here. Give me a second here. So, and for instance here, and I've seen the stereotyping firsthand myself. A few years ago, we had a female modeler that joined our group, and she stated that the reason why that she would have joined earlier on, but the reason why she didn't join is because her parents thought that we were a bunch of old smelly farts that had sick minds. And that came from her. That she said this herself, and she come to find out that just normal guys. We just have something on the side that we do on or off time. So that's the stereotyping right there, and unfortunately, it's strong when it comes to modeling, because we're thrown in with gamers when it comes to being stuck in a basement and That sort of thing. But anyway, uh, what happened is that I had no idea this was going on, and of course this happened about 3 4 weeks ago, when these ads came out on Airfix on on their Facebook page. And of course, I went to Ocon Expo and had a good time, had a good model contest and all that. Came back and Tuesday fired up the computer. That Tuesday I came back and I saw one of those flag the flag deals that says mark safe from, and our mom says being upset about Airfix ads. And oh, what are they talking about here? And as I stated, I get a little bit of sick sense of humor, and it didn't cross my mind. I went on the Airfix page and started looking, and I saw some ads that are like, yeah, kind of funny, kind of cheeky, stuff like that. Didn't think anything of it, and just kind of moved on. And I think about a week later, Man's Modeling Moments came up with a video, and basically he put it straight out exactly what the issue was. And it appears that there was one ad that was on the Airfix Facebook page. It apparently was pulled because I did not see it, and I don't see it now. And and basically he laid it straight out. He's like, the stereotyping apparently took place, I guess, and he was upset because of the way the ads were. Because if you're just a modeler that just wants to build models, not worried about passing or anything like that, it didn't cross your mind. It didn't bother you at all. If you're trying to get younger generations involved and you're aware of the stereotyping, then that's where the issue lies. And that's exactly what he was pointing out. A couple of ads were pretty, on the edge. Now, if you have a sense of humor, sorry, um, you thought them as kind of funny or kind of cheeky or maybe kind of blah. But if you're importing this to other kids, it does cross the line. Now, what ads am I referring to? And I have them up on here. Please bear with me here. The first one was an ad that came up on. It says, "Another way to keep your hands busy." And on the cover, there's a picture of the German battleship Bismarck. And we all know what happened to the Bismarck. It went under. So, depending on where you're standing at, that might be an issue. However, alone, you're not thinking about it. So, the next ad was a series of World War II American figures, and written on it says, "Turns out painting tiny helmets is quite relaxing." Tiny helmets. Okay. Yeah, kind of cheeky. Nothing to think about. Not if you're thinking of, not if you're even referring to the stereotyping. The next ad is the back end of a space rocket, probably Ariane or probably from the Artemis missions. And on the bottom says, "We also do space." Turns out it's quite big. Well, if you're at a bar, you probably get slapped for that. So anyway, there's that one. And I think the one that really pushed people over the edge was the one to where they're holding that particular rocket in a vertical position or horizontal position. And it states on there, says Steve loved polishing his rocket. Now, I don't know, maybe somebody out there does this, but do you polish your models? I don't. I'm not aware of anybody does that. However, we do know that polishing your rocket is slang for something else. And I think that's where the line was kind of crossed. Now, Man's Modeling Moments didn't exactly say which ad it was, but it was pretty obvious it was at least those ads in the combination that gave people the stereotypical picture, and that's what set some people off. Now, uh, basically, previously a week beforehand, he had an ad talking about the situation at Airfix. It's basically stating that it didn't look good, and he's recommending people that if you want to buy your Airfix, just buy them now because he doesn't suspect that they'll be around much longer. Well, this last video that he put out concerning this issue, he basically swore off Airfix altogether. Basically telling everybody he will not buy another Airfix kit. because basically he was ticked off over the ads. Now, again, it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on. Um, and again, I have a sick sense of humor, so if I'm not thinking about imparting this to someone else, I probably think this is, yeah, kind of cheeky. Some of it close to being kind of funny, but okay, no problem. But yeah, when you're trying to get young folks involved in this and they see something like that, and if they hear about the stereotyping, that's exactly what pops in their head. So, but anyway, that's what we got concerning that as of yet. Um, Now it looks like the last one that I pointed to, the one about polishing a rocket, that one's been pulled. I have not seen that on the Airfix page. The rest of them are still there, and it looks like they're trying to improve their ads. So I know they were asking strange, modeling related questions on there. Um, and then there was one ad concerning their uh, Robin the Hood figures, in which I do find kind of funny, and it takes a pretty good shot at that god awful movie, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, that came out about 30, yeah, about 30 years ago. I think it came out in 1991, something like that. I can't remember, or 99, something like that. The one with Kevin Costner as Robin Hood, and I call it kind of like the Paycheck movie because if that was acting, it was pretty bad. You know, the flat constant relaying your lines or something. No attempt to even try to um pick up a English dialect or anything like that. He just talked like normal, like it was just a normal movie. Yeah, that movie's pretty bad. Alan Rickman is pretty cool in that movie. I like Alan Rickman. Too bad, bless his soul. One a great great movie actor, I'll tell you that right now. But the movie sucked, and it looked like that ad was taking a shot at it because basically it states the figures were there, but it says no Kevin Costner. So yeah, it looks like they're trying to improve it, but I think they're using AI for these ads. Something was alluded to previously as well. So how much of a problem this is going to be for Airfix, we really can't tell. I mean, they're already in a bad situation as it is. Um, again, it's pretty bad when you're trying to, I guess, take over a situation and you don't understand your market as well, and you step on a landmine such as that one. Yeah, it has a tendency to have reverberations, and hopefully, I mean, hopefully they get something better in their ad department. Somebody actually knows what they're doing. But then again, hopefully the Airfix situation improves. That's all I got to say concerning that. So there's that. Now the next thing I'm going on is concerning Dragon. Now, back in, I think it was May, late May, Dragon announced they were getting out of molding kits. They were getting a 3D printing, or at least 3D. They weren't too specific on exactly what they're doing concerning 3D, but they were getting out of molding kits altogether. And they were selling pretty much all their molds. Zemi Models has purchased, at first, it referred to just the armor moldings. And Zemi picked them all up, or most of them up, and they've already started reboxing them. Now, the question remains is, what about the aircraft and ship kits? Well, it appears that Zemi at least picked up the aircraft kits as well, because they have just re-released the Sea Vampire in 72nd scale, the F-20, and the SB-2C Helldiver 72nd scale. That's also been released under the Drami name. So it seems like, and they were previously under Cyber Hobby, but it looks like now Drami's picked up at least the aircraft molds. Now, I haven't seen anything concerning ships yet. So whatever happened to the ship molds is still up the question. And of course, as probably noted earlier on, 4Art has released some of the Sea King kits that were previously also under the Cyber Hobby name. I don't know if they actually retain the molds or not, or maybe if they're actually associated with Zemi. I'm not sure. But those kits are out in the market as well. So at least with the situation with the dragon molds, it looks like they're all being dispersed. Most of them have gone to Drami or Zemi molds, and coming out as Drami name. So, basically, I got on concerning that one right there. Um, the next one here, we're talking about hand grenades being thrown in situations here. There was a little bit of blow up at the Nationals last weekend, um, over box art. And I'll tell you what, though, either way, this box art is actually going to make history as the first box art to illustrate the blue upon blue incident that occurred a few months ago in the Middle East. First ever box art depicting a blue and blue incident, because I don't recall anyone ever doing something of that sort. But um, some people were, again, not too happy about this. Now, to me, it doesn't matter to me either way. It doesn't matter because, number one, and let me refer to you what I'm talking about here. Kinetic is re-releasing their FA-18C kit, and it's in the markings of the Kuwaiti F-18 that was supposedly involved in the shoot down of 3 Strike Eagles a few months ago over Kuwaiti airspace. Um, and again, people are not too happy concerning this. To me, it doesn't matter too much to me at all. Number one, it's the wrong scale. It's 48. I'm 72nd, so I don't care. But there might be a bit of a caveat concerning this as well, because it might be the wrong model shown on the kit and the box art. I'll get to that shortly here. But, again, it's not on a website as of yet. It's not on their Facebook page. But, however, if you go to ScaleMates, if you look up Kinetic FA-18 Hornet, the box art is there. And it shows just that. It shows a C model Hornet overflying at least 2 Strike Eagles going down in flames. So, yep, as I stated, some people weren't too happy. And supposedly, and I don't know because I haven't been able to find the remarks online, Kinetic owner Raymond Chunk supposedly said some disparaging remarks concerning the situation in the Middle East. I don't know. I never dealt with the guy personally. However, as a group here, IPMS US, I'm sorry, IPMS for Crook, we've had dealings with him in the past when it came to supporting our Omicron contest, and he has supported us in the past. And as far as I know he has been to our Omicron uh, contest as well. I don't remember him this past year, but the year before he was there. I I never find anything wrong with him, anything like that. So supposedly he says some disparaging remarks. I don't know, and I haven't been able to find any as such. But supposedly he disagrees with the situation in the Middle East, as of other people. So supposedly, he's also made remarks basically stating that the American market is no real concern to him because he gets most of his coins somewhere else, which might be the case. But anyway, again, if he is saying that stuff, well, basically you're just shrinking your market a little bit further. So, but anyway, and of course there's some reactions about people about Americans getting upset when it's their aircraft getting shot down. I find that patently false, and the reason why is because I did a personal search on ScaleMates on box arts, and I did it on particular for the ME-109. And what I found is 15 different box arts with an ME-109 shooting down an American aircraft. Now, most of them were B-17s, but there was also one for B-24, one for B-25, a couple for P-51, one for P-47. But the box arts are all there, and some were pretty new. As a matter of fact, the last release of the 24 scale ME-109 by Airfix shows it shooting down a B-17. So, most of us don't care. It's not a big issue. Some of us actually do like the artwork. It's not a big issue as well. Now, the claim is, of course, is depicting history. The problem is the mark of the aircraft involved. Now, the artwork depicts a F-15C Legacy Hornet getting the victories. it might be incorrect. And the reason why is because of the fact that Kuwait retired and put all their Hornets in storage in 2005. Apparently, they're attempting to sell the Hornets to Malaysia, in which late last year they decided they were going to do a different route, so they never bought them. But supposedly the Hornets are still in storage. So the artwork might actually be wrong. It might have been an E model Hornet that was involved, and some sources do say that it was an E Super Hornet that did the shoot downs. But again, another hand grenade going off. So, but anyway, we're going to move on to something somebody created some history that pissed some people off, to somebody actually trying to do something right here. And we're talking about Revell. Now, a couple months ago, Revell launched Project Harrier. And basically what it is, they're basically showing how the sausage is made. They're going from CADs to illustrations to actually, and hopefully, because we all know a lot of times when a company announces a release, half the time it disappears. Hopefully they actually get this to fruition. But the good thing about this is that they're actually showing people what they're doing step by step along the route, making this kit actually, getting this kit on the market. And it's only been 3 months. They've had, I think, like three deals: June, July, and August. I will supply a link to that to their Facebook page so you can see what they're doing. But it's something that apparently nobody else is doing as of yet. Something that I think is pretty cool. Even though, again, it's not my scale. But again, it's something for people to see what's actually involved when it comes to getting the model kit done, prepared, made, box shipped, and possibly sold. And this might be something that'll last a couple years, and we will all know. Because again, as I stated, historically, we've seen a lot of times where people have announced model kits, Kinetic C17, or Chopper MiG-29 or MiG-19, which they announce it, and suddenly, no word is mentioned on it. And of course, when you ask them what's up with this situation here, and I've, Wolfpack with their F5, which they said they're just about ready to release a couple years ago, and again, even constant questions about what's going on with this particular kit. No response, nothing. Um, same thing with Atlantis with the Flakjack, where they told me at the 2022 Nationals that they were actually working on the molds and getting it prepared, and they were looking at it probably about a year release, and nothing's been heard about it since. So you got stuff like that. So hopefully Revell does keep on track in getting this released, and it's a good way of looking at it to see how it's getting developed. But that's a bit of a positive when it comes to modeling and knowing how it's all done. So, anyway, I'm going to end this video real quick here. Again, come on down the line here. Hopefully I'll have some products to review. I've ordered some stuff. In particular, I've ordered some stuff from Scale Flying Leather Neck Decals. I've ordered some resin stuff. I might actually do a review on one or two items from that kit, from that lot that I'm getting. Hopefully it comes in soon. But anyway, if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, go ahead and leave them down. I do read them. Sometimes I do respond to them. I ask that you keep it honest and simple. I don't know why you need to do personal attacks on something you disagree with. If you disagree, just say what you disagree about, why, show some proof. I mean, either way. It's good to disagree, but when you take personal attacks to such a level to where you don't have any proof on what you're talking about, but you just want to attack somebody just to do it, you're really useless. And there's no need for you to be engaging on me or any others on this platform here. Something I fully agree with somebody when they basically said that the problem with problem with doing things online, problem uh, with channels like YouTube and all that is that people can say stupid stuff and not be afraid to get smacked in the mouth for it. And I do agree. It seems like some people have lost their ability to be civil because there's no way to reach across lines and bitch slap them across the back of the head. So if you're not going to be civil about this, don't don't post anything here. Don't respond. I don't care. So anyway, for those of you that want to be civil about this, even if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine as well. But for those of you who want to be civil about this, go ahead and post below. Um, for a lot of you, I'll probably get back with you. I do read the comments as I stated. So anyway, you guys have a good night, and hopefully I'll be back with you soon in the next probably few weeks or a month or so. But we'll find out. Thanks.